My first question for you. Yesterday, President Obama, as you know, announced that we're going to send 450, possibly more, advisors/troops to try to deal with the question of ISIS. You said that's a piecemeal measure. The basic premise of the Obama foreign policy on this question is arm the Iraqis, let them do the fighting. Why is that not sufficient? Why is that not the right course?
Well, because it's not working, number one. I mean, ISIS is gaining ground, is threatening Baghdad, is expanding their territory, and most importantly, is not losing territory. Right. This is an organization that has established a caliphate, and they are using that Islamic, declaration to be able to recruit people in this country and around the world to join them. And unless we prove that that caliphate is illegitimate, and the only way to do that is to take back that ground. Right. The president has really no plan in place to move ISIS out.
I think even if you criticize the administration's policy, you have to acknowledge, you might say it's very political what they're doing, right? That they're too attuned to American public opinion. But it seems hard for me, a hard sell to convince Americans that we need to go put more boots on the ground back in Iraq.
I would say that when you've seen 2 attacks here in the United States already that were directly related to ISIS calling people to attack their enemies, of which the United States is one of them. And I think everyone recognizes who look at this that the longer that ISIS is controlling that area and looks to be on the offensive, the more people will follow them. And that means more here in America will follow them, which means more incidents here, not just around the world.
All right, let me shift from ISIS to Iowa, okay? Tomorrow the Iowa Republican Party is going to decide the fate of the straw poll. You have said that you would have participated. You will participate.
Well, I said I hadn't made I hadn't made a decision.
But you were open to it at least. You're not saying you won't go.
I'm not saying I won't go, but what I've said is that I don't do straw polls. I mean, I attend them, but I don't spend any money on them. I spend money on when it matters.
Would you be happy if they kill it tomorrow? Would that be a good thing?
You know what? That's for the folks in Iowa to make that decision as to what they think is in the best interest of the caucus. I mean, the straw poll is part of the process of the caucus.
Right.
And if it's additive, then they should do it.
If they kill it off, you won't be disappointed. You won't say, "Oh, that's terrible. That was a valuable thing. I was looking forward to going."
Well, look. The last time around when I ran, we didn't spend resources. We showed up. We didn't spend resources. Right. We set no expectations. We finished in the middle of the pack. And I ended up winning the caucus. Right. Why? Because I focused my attention on what mattered, which is winning the caucus.
All right. So you mentioned your very important victory, ultimate victory. It was not clear the night of, unfortunately, but it was clear a little while later. Your victory in Iowa. So in some sense, you should be the front runner there. Everybody knows you out in Iowa because you spent a lot of time there. We were out there a few weeks ago and did a focus group with Iowa Republicans, and we spent a long time talking to them about a variety of things. One of them, the thing we talked about was you, and I want to just play a little video for you and get your reaction to what those Iowa Republicans said. You'll see it right over here. Crystal, are you not interested in Rick Santorum?
Said he didn't win.
He didn't win.
So why would I put all of our energy behind him again?
He had the momentum coming out of Iowa, and he did not do it. So what makes us think that he could do it again the next time? I think that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, what's different this time than last time?
Look at the Santorum. Look at Huckabee. They're too conservative for the country. And as soon as they leave Iowa, they're done. Right. They're done.
So those are Republicans. Those are our Republicans. So what's different this time? Well, first, as that woman said, what would be different this time? What's different this time?
I would say 2 things. Number one, I didn't win Iowa on caucus. I didn't win until almost 3 weeks later. Yeah. And I won 10 other states, even though the party establishment was lined up against us and we were being outspent 3 and 4 to 1. So the idea that we can't go on and win, we did go on and win, and we had a very strong message that was resonating with the voters that we need to get if we're going to win this election. And that is disaffected Democrats, folks in the middle who are in middle America who are seeing their wages flatlined, income falling, and neither political party addressing them. They're not talking about how we're going to grow the parts of the economy that employ people, the 74% of Americans who don't have a college degree. And I talk about manufacturing, construction, energy. I'm the only one out there talking about we have to have immigration policy that's a pro-worker immigration policy. There was a pro-worker immigration group that rated all the candidates. There's only one that got an A, and that was me. So what's different is the country has been in stagnation 4 more years. I've recognized what at the core of that problem is, and we have an economic platform that's going to not only unite America, but win this election.
Another thing that's different this time around is that as things currently stand, you wouldn't be invited to be in the debates And you've been a big critic of that system. You saw yesterday Fox, for the first debate, came out and said there's going to be a kiddie table.
Yeah.
We're going to have a forum for people who aren't in the top 10. Is that enough?
I would say that at this point in time, using an arbitrary number, which is exactly what national polls are, to divide candidates in any way is not in the best interest of getting the right candidate to run. It's not a matter about me or anybody else. It's a matter about the people of America and the people in the early primary states who are going to be paying most attention to have the chance, the opportunity to see everybody in an equal
So again,
footing.
being in a forum in the afternoon with the, quote, second-tier candidates, is that sufficient for you, or are you still saying, no, we ought to have everybody on the stage in a real debate in prime time?
What I suggested was that if there's that many candidates that are really good quality candidates, and there are, they're wonderful candidates that have, terrific records inside government and outside government, and that are just, in many cases, just starting their campaigns, like I did just a couple of weeks ago, and those campaigns should be given on equal footing if they're legitimate candidates for president. And I think there's about anywhere from, depending on who announces, 14, 15, maybe even 16 candidates. And I've suggested that if you want to use national polls, which I think is illegitimate, but if you want to use national polls and that's your metric, then take the odd numbered of the average and do 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, etc., and then do 8, and then do the even numbers and do it back to back. You get 2 events instead of 1.
I want to ask you a question. You were on with Chris Wallace this weekend, and you guys talked about immigration a little bit.
Yeah.
He pressed you on a question that we often ask candidates who come on here, which is, wherever you are on immigration, what are you going to do with the 11 million? You said E-Verify, E-Verify, E-Verify. E-Verify is fine. Doesn't really answer the question. There's still 11 million here. So you're saying deport them. If if you can't employ them using E-Verify, self-deportation, deportation, what?
I would not use any different standard than the past couple of administrations have used with respect to deportations. What I would say is that we need to enforce E-Verify across all businesses. Number 2, we need to track people who come into this country through visas. The biggest number of people who are illegally in this country right now in the last few years are people that came in, I'm told, are people that came in through the visa system legally and have overstayed their visa because we don't track them.